New figures show that inflation has returned to the British economy after a short period of falling prices in April, when it fell to minus 0.1%, its lowest level for 55 years. One of the biggest factors pushing up inflation last month was the price of petrol, which has bounced back since its low point earlier this year. Our economics correspondent Andy Verity reports.
It was petrol that drove inflation below zero. And it's petrol that's making it take off again. The Bank of England told us to enjoy deflation while it lasted. Blink and you missed it. If you want to know about the price of petrol, ask someone who really cares. This 1930s sports car, shown off at the Brooklands Motor Museum in Surrey, now costs nearly £600 to fill up, £60 more than in February.
Nice when it came down, and I hope it doesn't go back up as high as it was before, but I'm sure it will.
If I can avoid thinking about it at all, because I use quite a lot of it.
I have a business that relies on me doing some mileage, and I stopped doing things because it got so high.
Unleaded petrol has jumped 11 pence from its low point to £1.17 a litre. That was one of the biggest factors pushing the Consumer Prices Index up by 0.1%. Stripping out food, fuel, alcohol and tobacco, core inflation is up 0.9%. Throughout the time since these cars were built, the Bank of England almost always wanted less inflation. Now it thinks we need more of it, not least because of our debts. If you borrowed £1,000 in 1960 to buy this car new, that would have seemed like a big debt, but by 1980 it didn't seem like so much, because prices and earnings had gone up with inflation, but the amount you borrowed hadn't. Inflation shrinks your debts. But if you don't have enough inflation, that goes into reverse and your debts hang around.
Inflation is in many ways a Jekyll and Hyde character. So it diminishes the value of money, which is bad news for savers. But for borrowers, it also diminishes the value of debt. And for the government, it erodes public debt. So pros and cons. A little bit of inflation is good for an economy because it means the economy is growing.
Petrol's still cheaper than it was a year ago, but that's unlikely to be the case by the end of this year. Expect inflation gently to accelerate. Andy Verity, BBC News, Weybridge.